Hello everybody, Fuzzball back here again, and today I'm bringing you a bit of spy gameplay on payload Barn Blitz. And the reason I'm bringing you this is because I've never really had a spy gameplay. I had the compilation, but it was more of just a bunch of kills. It wasn't an actual proper gameplay. Now, this video is basically going to be little tips and tricks to becoming better at spy. I'm not the best spy myself, however I have got the most gameplay with it, or I think maybe the second most gameplay with it, so I do kind of know the habits of a spy and things like that. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about is what knife to use. Now, knife is usually preference. I personally like to use the default knife. I don't know what it is about it. It's mainly influenced. I have it in strange as well, so it kind of makes me want to use it more, just so I can get them strange levels and things like that. I also Your Eternal Ward is obviously a pretty popular option, but it's entirely up to you on that one. There's no right knife, however there are knives that are better for each situation, if that makes sense. For example, sometimes your Eternal Ward might not be the best option. Just, you know, say for example there are a lot of pyros and you can't get your disguise or something like that, then maybe that's not the best. Obviously the Q9 and the Big Urn are also pretty good, but they're still not my favourite. My favourite is just a default knife. Next I'm going to talk about the watch that you use. There are, what, 3 watches now. You've got the original watch, obviously the Dead Ringer, and you've got the Cloak and Dagger. Now, I'm going to say use a Dead Ringer, mainly because you'll see it in this video. I probably die at least 10 times. Well, not actually die, but dead ringer about 10 times in one life. Now, I would usually be dead at this point, so it kind of really helps out. So, you know, it's good. It's a good one. But also, the other ones are okay. I'm not a fan of them. I never really use them when I do play spy. But it is your preference. I did get taken out by a spy there. There's nothing really I could have done. But I got quickly back into the action. The revolver you want to use, once again, that's kind of preference, but I like the default revolver personally. I think it's one of the best because all the revolvers do a high amount of damage, and to be fair, you're not really going to be using your revolver too much. And basically all the loadout slots are kind of preference, so there's nothing really I can say on that. Obviously the Ambassador's good. The Enforcer's not so good with the because of its debuff now, but it's entirely up to you if you do want to use that. I mean, it's a viable option. It's not like it's unusable. All the spy weapons are pretty usable. If I had to use any of them, I'd probably get used to using them. But anyway, I'm going to move on to a couple of other little tips. And one of my other little tips is, don't be afraid to die. If that sounds really obvious and things like that, but if you think that you can get a pretty sweet backstab on someone, don't be afraid, even if you're sure it's going to kill you, because if it kills you, it doesn't really matter. You're just going to respawn in what, like 10 seconds or something. So it's not really a problem. I did get taken out by pyro, unfortunately. There's nothing you can do about them. So yeah, always try and get the backstab, because you know it's pretty sweet. It just generally it looks good. Even if you die, it doesn't matter. And obviously next I'm going to say avoid pyros. That's pretty obvious as well, but you'll be surprised how many spies blindly run into pyros thinking that they're not going to spy check you, then die and think, oh, it's a bit funny, isn't it? See, I think I can get killed like loads and loads of times by pyros in this, just because they're like the natural enemy of the spy. Now I'm going to talk about who you disguise as next, the best people to disguise as. In my opinion, I don't really like disguising as the soldier, because he walks too slow when you disguise. The pyro is good to disguise as, but makes it really easy for them to spy check you, which is kind of bad, but it's not really too much of a problem if there's not that many pyros in the game, or the pyros are a little bit derpy. But the best option I'm going to say is probably the Demo Man, mainly because it's got an okay speed, it's not overly obvious. You know, I see a bunch of Demo Men just running around aimlessly, so it's not like they don't do that. and you can behave very spy-like, and people, I find, don't really seem to suspect you when you're a demo man. Obviously, I get killed here by the guy I'm disguised as. Nothing you can do about that. He gets a shield kill on me. That's pretty sweet. But yeah, I wouldn't suggest disguising as the heavy. Obviously, too slow. And one thing I'm going to say: never, never, never disguise as either the scout or the medic, because you don't, as a spy, you don't gain the speed boost. And most people spy check scouts that aren't double jumping, because if they're double jumping around, you know they're not a spy. And you could do it if it said, if they're using the babyface's blaster, or whatever it's called, because obviously they're going to avoid double jumping, so that's probably the best time. If the enemy scout was using that, then maybe that's okay. But yeah, next I'm going to say is, whenever you backstab someone, try and edge around them. You're going to see this in a bit here with a medic. If they're running directly towards you, as a spy, this is probably your weakness. You know, you're in the most vulnerable position here. But you'll see it here. There's a medic running towards me, and I sort of edged around him like that. I did sort of like a little quick sidestep and took him out. But that's all I can really get for this. This video is coming to an end here. I did die a bunch of times. Unfortunately, we lost because they had a pretty good team. They had a medic and a heavy, and that's pretty much equals win in this game. So, and I don't know how that was a backstab, but I'm not complaining. So if you like this video, guys, please be sure to like it, subscribe so you don't miss the rest of my videos, and tell me what your favourite class is in the thing below. Okay, thanks guys.